And hello everyone, December 9th was a terrible day for all the athletes. After all, it is precisely today that the World Anti-Doping Agency, or how it is more familiar to us, Wada, has suspended Russia from international competitions for 4 years. What does this mean and what do I think about it? I will tell you in this video. I will certainly expect your comments on this subject below this video in the comments. Well, I think it will be right to start by recalling what happened and what caused such a major global scandal. Back in November 2015, Wada accused Russia of numerous anti-doping rule violations, suspended the work of the Moscow anti-doping laboratory, and also ruled that RUSADA did not comply with the organization's code. In 2016, there was a wave of scandals after a report on doping in Russian sports by Canadian lawyer Richard McLaren, who is the head of the Wada Commission to investigate allegations of doping fraud at the 2014 Olympics in Sochi. His report was based on the testimony of the former head of the Moscow anti-doping laboratory, Grigory Rodchenkov, who ran to the United States in 2016. McLaren claimed in his report that Sochi had a system for swapping sample of analysis for Russian athletes. IOC medical director Richard Budget said that they were grossly deceived in Sochi. In February 2018, a court in Lausanne declared WADA charges insolvent and without real justification, and finally cancelled the cancellation of the results of the Russian athletes at the 2014 Olympic Games in Sochi. However, several athletes were found guilty of violating anti-doping rules, and their results were annulled. RUSADA gave a chance to restore its reputation, and they had to transfer the database of the Moscow anti-doping laboratory intact until December 31st, 2018, but only transferred in January 2019. In addition, experts found that the data were amended in recent months, which was the main evidence that athletes who had previously violated anti-doping rules continued to be screened in Russia. What's more important is that with the participation of the state. All this time, the base was under arrest in the investigation committee, and no one could gain access without their knowledge, hence such tough consequences. The Russian side still has a chance to defend itself. It can submit an appeal within the next 21 days. Whether it helps, it is difficult to say for now. 4 years is at least 2 Olympic Games in Tokyo in 2020 and winter in Beijing in 2022. There is a true opinion that the WADA decision will not have time to enter into force for the Olympics in Tokyo. Since if Russia appeals the decision, the procedure will last at least 3 months. If it will not be delayed, the WADA decision remains in force, then the disqualification will be at the Olympic Games in 2024 and not in 2020. But again, this all is just an assumption. However, if we consider the disqualification will affect the Olympics in 2020, where by the way our athletes should perform, they will be able to get there not under the flag of the country but under the neutral flag, and each athlete will undergo individual selection. Here, of course, the logical question immediately arises: how will Irina Wiener and the gymnasts of the Russian national team react to this situation, knowing that in all interviews they say that they perform for the country and for the flag? It turns out if they go there and go to perform, they will perform only for themselves, not for the country. In addition to the Olympics, Russian athletes under the flag of the country will not be allowed to attend the World Games and the Universiade, and most likely the World Championship. But again, this does not mean that gymnasts will not be able to compete under the neutral flag. But the European Championship and World Cup should be held in the same mode. So, what to summarize, pure Russian athletes for 4 years will be able to attend international tournaments only in a neutral status, without a flag and anthem. Our athletes and their coaches can be allowed to start only if they are approved, not to be involved in any doping violations. The competition will be attended by Russian athletes who confirm their non-involvement in violations of the global anti-doping code. It has been repeatedly said that pure athletes will be protected, so I think that for us it will go more or less smoothly, without scandals, with the exception of the main thing that we will not hear the Russian anthem at the Olympic Games in 2020. Write in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Well, if you still have questions, then write them down in the comments and I will try to answer everything I can. Well, remember that I love you all very much and hope everything will be fine with our athletes. For now, goodbye.